For the robbery and assault of an elderly woman, this court sentences you to 1 year in county jail.
Nah, Judge, this bogus. I didn't take the money. That was Monica. And it wasn't no brutal attack like y'all saying. She got knocked out, so we stopped. That's it. And I'm getting time for that? Nah, don't miss Diaz.
For attempting to rob a 7-Eleven while displaying what appeared to be a firearm, this court sentences you to 2 years in state prison.
Man, this messed up. 2 years for a fake gun? I bought that thing at the flea market for $10. You really sending me to prison over a toy gun?
For attempted robbery of a convenience store, this court sentences you to 2 years in state prison.
I ain't even make it out the damn store. Dude shot me in my leg before I could even blink. Look at this, man. You see?
Now, as you probably realized, all of these are AI. Now, if the conversation is about the fact that these are deepfakes and are able to trick most people into believing that these are real cases, then I kind of agree a little bit. But the solution would be to tell people to stop being retarded. Stop believing everything you see online. Like how many deepfakes does it need to take? How many fake news is it required so that people understand that what's on the internet isn't always true? Like seriously, like what would this require? Like how can we make it so that the average Joe stops believing 100% everything that they see on the internet? Notice how, like, the left is not trying to push this to be taught in schools. Like, kids do get to learn about their LGBTs before their ABCs, but they're never told how to recognize when you have, like, some false information presented to you. The internet, even before AI, was filled with false informations. And even to this day, there is absolutely no initiative in order to try and educate the population on how to tell fact from fiction. Their only initiative, it's like, oh, you know what? Let's have fact checkers that the government owns, and they're paid by the government. And surely those fact checkers are going to fact check accurately, and they're not going to fact check in the interest of the people paying them. But regardless, okay, like this is the modern 2025 equivalent of Photoshop. And some people are concerned about this, but even so, there are safety features. Like, as you can see, within minutes of this video being updated, you had readers adding context. The best way to tell if something is AI is to actually use another AI. So if you ask Grok if this is true or not, it will say it isn't. And by the way, let's stop with mocking people for asking Grok if it's true. Because, like, in certain cases, if you see a footage from an event that you can't really position in time and place, asking the AI, it's like, can you actually use your data source in order to tell me if this event happened or not? I don't think that's a bad use of the AI. But like, if someone says 2 + 2 = 4 and you go like, hey Grok, is this true or not? That's retarded, right? So like, let's start applying context to everything. Let's stop judging people on when they ask and what they ask about, rather than just asking the AI if something is true or not. Because in some cases like this one, it would be completely fair to ask Grok, is it true? But the conversation is not about this, right? Like, the conversation is not even about people losing their jobs because this is becoming popular. Like, you have editors that are concerned, right? You have people that are voice actors that are concerned, because like in order to make something like this in the past, you actually needed a studio, you needed people that could act, you needed an editor, right? So just to make a shitpost. Nowadays you can make a shitpost in 10 seconds with AI. And so a lot of people are definitely concerned about losing their jobs, and I do sympathize with them. It sucks, right? I mean, if you're the town crier when the printing press comes along, it's not a good look. You know, if you're the guy connecting shit from horses back in London, which, by the way, like, that was a very profitable job, like, look it up. But then when the automobile industry comes up, those people lost their livelihood. It sucks. You know, it's not their fault. But this is how the world works. Like, technology happens, people end up jobless, life moves on. However, this is not what the conversation is about. The conversation is about communism. The sole purpose of AI is to push racism and meaningless culture wars to distract us from class consciousness. In other words, like, to distract people from communism. you need to understand how these activists think, right? Anything that's fun, anything that distracts you from politics is wrong because you have to suffer. Like, you have to constantly suffer the misery of life in order to start the revolution. If you have like some downtime, if you play some video games, if you watch some sports, if you hang out with your friends or family, that is evil. Because you're not promoting the revolution. Like, the idea of the communist activist is that everyone needs to suffer 24/7, and the only outlet is for them to go on the street and break a Starbucks. I don't partake part of that ideology. I think that ideology is evil, harmful, and if the only solution to that ideology is AI, I'm gonna start promoting AI. I'm sorry, artists. I'm sorry, but like, your comfort is not as important as destroying socialism. I gotta say it. It is what it is. It separates and subjugates the working class by manufacturing resentment, so we do not unite and stand up against the billionaires in power. Interestingly, how they don't see wokeness as being a bigger threat to the classical class-conscious struggle that Marx invented. There was an article from Amazon talking about Whole Foods, one of their subsidiaries, and how they actually mapped the possibility of the workers unionizing. And one of the biggest criteria was diversity. And what they noticed is that in places where diversity is high, there's less likely for a union to happen. In other words, like, turns out that John and Jose, they get along pretty fine until the HR lady comes in and tells Jose that John is oppressing them. So it's like, it's not the boss, it's not the company. No, it's your white colleague that's the problem. And you're telling the white colleague, yeah, we're planning to fire like 25% of white people so that we have more diversity. We can bring up more diverse people. And now, like, the white person is afraid of speaking out or forming unions because all of a sudden you made it race-based, right? Or feminism that divides people based on gender. Like, how can you unionize when you have an ideology that tells you the opposite gender is competing with you for resources? And it's a zero-sum game. It's all about survival, basically, right? It's not about making families, getting together. And so, like, that's not the problem, right? Like, wokeness isn't the problem. Feminism isn't the problem. AI is the problem. People shitposting on the internet is the problem. As if, like, people aren't racist. But they see these AI videos and all of a sudden they become racist. It wasn't the Irina assassination video that caused issues. It wasn't the Charlie Kirk assassination that got people upset. It wasn't seeing an Orthodox priest getting stabbed in the eye that got people outraged. And the reason I know about all these three is because the Australian government is trying to ban all these three videos, right? So it's not that's the problem. No, it's some like random chucklehead shitposting online. As if black people don't do the same shitposts about white people. Like, they keep trying to make it as if white people are the only ones under the microscope. And they think like white people are racist because they share things like this. Why don't they ask a Chinese person what they think about black people? Why don't they ask a black person what they think about Mexicans? Why don't they ask a Japanese person what they think about Chinese people? Why is it that only white people are the ones being held under scrutiny? Because I'm telling you, like, from what I'm experiencing, white people are actually the least racist individuals out there. Like, seriously, like, show me an individual that's actually least racist than a European. Because I don't know, like, any other country that has, like, diversity initiatives, that has, like, HR where you can complain about being discriminated and stuff. Like, maybe there are, but I generally don't know. Anyway, right, regardless. I found this to be interesting because as you can go down and you can see how leftists argue, right? Like, this is a pretty valid argument from Alex, saying that class consciousness is the same form of unfair generalization as racism, simply applied to a different category. I have no clue how you can be lacking this much self-reflection. To which the leftist responds, can you go back and write this as a cohesive sentence? This is the equivalent of leftist DDoSing. Like, a DDoS attack is basically meant to flood the server with a lot of bogus information to clog the system. This is literally the same thing. Like the leftist is trying to waste your time. Like they know what they're doing. They understand this. Like no one is that stupid. If they can understand leftism, they can understand this argument. And when they're basically like feigning ignorance, oh, they don't know what you're talking about. Oh, can you rephrase that? Oh, can you give me a link? Oh, can you provide me a survey? Oh, can you show me evidence? You have Grok. If you don't understand this, ask Grok. You know what? Actually, hold on. I'll do it for him. I mean, we gotta do it, right? So, Grok, can you please explain as if we're talking to a 5-year-old what Alex was trying to mean by his statement? And also, please teach Mr. J.J. Ellis how he can appeal to your knowledge in the future when someone posts something too complex for him to understand. There we go. You gotta, like, if AI can take down communism, fine. Fine, it has its uses. Now, the thing that Alex is actually trying to say is very sophisticated. This is why the communist doesn't understand. The Karl Marx critique of capitalism is applied only to a specific time in human history, which is that of the factory workers, right? Like in the earlier Victorian London, I think, right? When the British people started making factories. But the whole idea was that the government at the time, right, the monarchy, they started making various laws that pushed farmers off their land. And so farmers now were forced to go into the cities to find some way of not starving to death. And that way was to go into a factory. And factory work was abso-fucking-lutely brutal at the time, right? Like, they had the assembly line, well, not really assembly, like a proto version of assembly lines. But long story short, you would sit there in toxic fumes. You would work for 12 to 16 hours a day. There was absolutely no healthcare. Like if you broke a finger or you broke your hand, that's it, you're out. And then you starve. And it wasn't like when are you going to have an accident. It wasn't if you're going to have like a work accident. It was when. And so most people would not even be able to resist that condition of working in a factory for more than 3, maybe 4 years. And then they would be fired anyway and put on the streets. Payment was garbage. Like, it was just subsistential level. You would spend, again, like 12 to 16 hours, like, inside the factory, like, inhaling all that smoke. You weren't allowed to talk to anyone. And you would do the same repetitive job over and over and over. It was kind of like a gulag, pretty much. And so, like, yeah, I get why Karl Marx, in that specific time, in that specific era, would make those criticisms, and he would talk about class consciousness. Because, like, every single worker that was there experienced the same stuff. And so, like, they definitely had, like, a consciousness that if you had a worker from one side of the country and one of the other side of the country, like, they would experience the same thing. Kind of like prisoners today, right? Like, they have the same consciousness of being a convict. Because they experience the same system. But in 2025, a truck driver doesn't have the same consciousness, the same grievances, the same experiences like a store owner, even though they're both working class. Or a content creator. Like, I heard that even, holy shit, I heard that even Emma Watson is working class, according to these people, right? Because she doesn't own the means of production. And so, like, Emma Watson obviously doesn't have the same class consciousness as a trucker. And this is what the person is saying. It's like, okay, if you say black people, a black person from Nigeria doesn't have the same experiences and class consciousness and race consciousness as a person from the UK, or as a person from Germany, or as a person from the United States, even though they're all black, right? Like, they will have different culture, they will have different mannerisms, they will have, like, different ways of speaking, different problems that they face with. And this is what Alex is saying, right? And he's basically saying, like, yeah, class consciousness in 2025 is fucking bullshit. It's very vague compared to what it used to be when Karl Marx was reading his manifesto. But of course, Mr. Ellis doesn't understand. Let's see if Grok helped him out. Apparently I got blocked, so it is what it is. You know, I can't help him out. I did try my best, chat, but he was fast on the block button. I will respect Mr. Ellis now, and I will not engage with him anymore. I will respect his privacy. Hold on, let me make sure that I won't engage with him. So there we go. C'est la vie. Quid pro quo. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.